right, welcome to the final review with me, Yemmy the Ferret. If you enjoy this review, please make sure you slap that like button and leave a comment if you want to. Let me know what you thought of the game that we're reviewing today, which is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, or just MW3 for the people who like shorter names. Modern Warfare 3 follows the events of Modern Warfare 2, which came out last year in 2022. Not the same timeline as the original Modern Warfare games, which started with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare and ended with Modern Warfare 3, respectively. So if you're so if you're like me and you thought that 2019's Modern Warfare was a tie-in or something that bridged the gap between Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 back in the day, that is not true, and that is not true for this new timeline as well. So there you go. Modern Warfare as a series is one of my favorites, I would say. The original three games in the series, even though you say what you want about the original Modern Warfare 3, it got the job done. It had good multiplayer, had a nice Spec Ops mode, not as good as Modern Warfare 2, but it was fine. It also had that survival mode, which I thought was really fun back in the day. Modern Warfare 3, the original one, is also a game that I quit my job for. I literally quit my third shift job to play Modern Warfare 3. It's also one of the only games I have ever bought two copies of on the same day, on the first day that it launched. I bought an Xbox 360 copy and a PS3 copy because I had friends on both systems, so I just bought both. And I was very loose with my money back then, when I was a kid. But also, the original Modern Warfare 3 has a pretty good story to it. Now, it's not the best, obviously. I mean, the first two Modern Warfare games take the cake on that. But it was a closure to a video game series that people loved. And of course, it's going to be looked at with a bit of a more of a critical eye. Thinking back to it now, I did enjoy it when I was young. I still do enjoy it nowadays. I think there is a couple of missions in there that are kind of lackluster. I think there's a couple ideas in there that are a bit annoying. But for the most part, I think that it does the job of being like this bombastic finale to a trilogy that people love and enjoy. The recent Modern Warfare games, starting with 2019's Modern Warfare, wanted to restart that timeline, reboot the series, bring back the characters that we know and love, and they started with the most basic of them, which is Captain Price, the guy who pretty much started it all back in Call of Duty 2. He came back in 2019, and 2019 was a grounded, realistic kind of Call of Duty. The campaign was out of this world. The multiplayer was really fun. And all in all, I felt that, like, yeah, that 2019 Modern Warfare still holds up to this day. I recently replayed it about a month or two ago, and yeah, it's still a very good campaign, great story moments, great gameplay, and a really fun level design. This level design that you didn't really see in the other Modern Warfares, because Modern Warfare 2019 was much more tactical base. Modern Warfare 2 from last year, 2022, as I'm recording this, came out, and it still had some of those tactical missions to it, but it was more so bombastic. It brought back a lot of the characters that you know, like Soap and Ghost and Gaz, even though Gaz was technically in the first game as well, 2019's. He was fully Gaz in Modern Warfare 2. And they added in some new characters like the Mexican special ops characters, and of course they had to bring back some of the older characters like General Shepard and his Shadow Squadron and stuff like that. And the whole point of Modern Warfare 2 was, it was just another anti-terrorist kind of thing going on, and it was good for what it was. It was good enough that I put it on my top 10 list last year in 2022. It was number 10, if you're wondering. It was not that high, but it was. Modern Warfare 2 and most Call of Duty games are guilty pleasure games for me. I enjoy the gameplay. I mostly buy them for the story. Even games like Call of Duty Cold War, which I didn't really play much of when it came out, I thought the campaign is great on that game, and even though I wasn't huge into the multiplayer, I played the campaign a couple times. I really enjoyed that one. Same thing with Call of Duty World War II. Love that game. Didn't really like Vanguard, but from my perspective, in my opinion, Call of Duty has had a pretty good record with their campaigns and their multiplayer modes attached to them. I'm not a huge fan of zombies, nor am I a big fan of Warzone or the Spec Ops things that they've done in the recent Call of Duties, but the main selling point for me is always going to be the campaign and the multiplayer. And say what you will about my spending habits, but that is what I buy Call of Duty for these days. And I've always kind of bought Call of Duty for those reasons. I'm a very old enjoyer of Call of Duty. My first Call of Duty was Finest Hour on the GameCube or PS2, either one. And I bought the original Call of Duty on PC with the United Offensive expansion pack, and from there, the story writes itself. I've played every single Call of Duty game since then, through the highs and lows, and I've had opinions about every single one. But Modern Warfare 3, the new one, from here on out, I'll probably just be talking about the 2023 Modern Warfare 3, and I'll say the old Modern Warfare 3 when I'm talking about it, but Modern Warfare 3 from 2023 takes everything that this new Modern Warfare timeline was building, and it just crashes to the ground. Like, it literally takes this story that was pretty good, maybe a bit too nostalgia bait during Modern Warfare 2, but pretty good, and it just tanks it. It really does. One of the things that I love about Modern Warfare games in general are the missions, the level design. I can gush about the level design of Modern Warfare from Call of Duty 4 all the way to Modern Warfare 2 from 2022. There are some really good missions in in every single Modern Warfare game. There's always that really good mission that sells it for you. Modern Warfare 2 had a couple that I really liked. There was the one where you're sniping guys from far away, and it's this really big map, and you're going along and you're taking out groups of enemies with Captain Price, and he's telling you the wind and how many notches you need to go up on your sniper rifle. Very reminiscent of the All Gillied Up from Call of Duty 4. 2019's Modern Warfare had a bunch of good levels. I'm not going to name them specifically, but there was a few really good levels in that game that really resonated with me, and the rest of the campaign was also really good as well. Going back to the old Modern Warfare 3, there's plenty of bombastic moments and great levels in that. Obviously Modern Warfare 2 has bangers across the board, and Call of Duty 4 also has bangers across the board. There's a reason why they remastered Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2. It's because those were the two best-selling Call of Duty games of all time. Remastering those in a no-brainer, and the remasters do a really good job of bringing those old games to the newer consoles. And even though Modern Warfare 2's remaster was just the campaign is worth the $40 admission price. I don't care what anyone else says. I know people love the multiplayer and love the Spec Ops. Me too. But the campaign itself sells that remastered game. And of course you can get it on sale nowadays. But yeah. Modern Warfare 3, the new one. We're back to the new one. It just doesn't have any of that. You know, the two things I expect from a campaign of Modern Warfare being the level design and the narrative kind of working together to form a cohesive campaign experience. None of those things are there. This game has lazy level design, the likes I've really never seen before. At this point, I would rather take Black Ops 4's no campaign over whatever this is, honestly. Even though this game did have a few bright spots in it, for the most part, the missions were very lazy. And what do I mean by that? Modern Warfare 3 starts off with a mission that is pretty much the same as the Gulag mission from Modern Warfare 2 originally back in the day. Where you're breaking someone out of this heavily guarded prison that has these giant walls. It's like a castle. It's old, etc. And immediately after that, the next two missions are called weapons-free missions. And whenever you see weapons-free, you know that you're in for the worst campaign mission ever. Because these missions, regardless of whether you like Warzone or not, are very tone deaf. The meticulous mission design from any other Modern Warfare game is completely thrown out of the window, and it's being put into your hands, the player. Now, I don't mind having a bit of spice of life. I don't mind having a little bit of a decision to make while I'm in a Call of Duty game. It's one of the reasons why Black Ops 2 is one of my favorite campaigns. Hate me later. Giving you a free roam area with a ton of enemies and a single objective is not great. Add on top of that the Warzone elements of adding armor to yourself, being able to drive vehicles, being able to find weapon chests, self-revive kits, every single grenade you can think of, every single tactical you think of, kill streaks, like calling down a Predator strike or mortar strikes. It just doesn't it just doesn't feel like a campaign mission. It just feels like I'm playing multiplayer or Warzone. And that's the main issue I have with about 90% of the missions in this game. There is one weapons-free mission that I really enjoyed, but it didn't feel like a weapons-free mission. It felt more like a regular mission that just allows you to add armor to yourself, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But the first two missions are essentially Farah going around a container depot and planting tracking devices on containers. And in this mission, there's like a vehicle you can drive off of the ship, which maybe could have been a cool set piece moment, but it was not anything. But you just drive it off yourself. It just feels like playing Warzone. It's all janky and stuff like that. The next mission is Captain Price going into this area and you need to take down this group of Russians, and yeah, you literally fly in and deploy your parachute like a Warzone match. It's so weird. It's a very weird. And this is the reason why I say that this campaign is lazy, because there's so many missions like this where it's like, here's a map area, you're this character, move in, do whatever you want to do, but you got to make sure you get to the objective at least. And that kind of mission design is not what I expect or want from the Modern Warfare series in general. Sure, there's been open style missions in other Call of Duty games, even Modern Warfare 2. But the fact remains that in those missions, it's much more scripted. They have a tighter narrative, and they know what they want you to do specifically. In these missions, sometimes you have a silenced weapon, sometimes you don't, sometimes, et cetera, et cetera. It always devolves into you versus 50 enemies, which obviously is a Call of Duty staple. But when I was playing Modern Warfare 2019 or even Modern Warfare 2 from 2022, you don't really feel like that one-man army, especially in 2019, because you have a group of people with you at all times. You have this tactical stuff going on that doesn't make you feel like an overpowered monster killing machine most of the time. Modern Warfare 3, that's all you do. They give you that like, oh, here's an entire platoon of enemies. Here's 60 enemies for you to kill. And you just do it. And then there's like one objective that you go to, or a couple objectives, and you leave. The level's over. It's just a very lackluster level design that leaves me wanting more and makes me really yearn for the days of old when they actually put time and effort into the campaign for Modern Warfare. And those times were only a year ago. A year ago. When Modern Warfare 2 came out, that campaign is solid. Good characters, good level design for the most part. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have too much to complain about other than the fact that it's not as tactical based as Modern Warfare 2019, which is obviously one of my favorites. So, yeah, a lot of these missions are these weapons-free missions where you go around a map area, you pick off enemies or fight them all at once, and then you move on. The missions that are actually kind of good in this game, there's like 3 of them. One of them is this mission where you're running, which is a weapons-free mission, surprisingly enough. You're playing as Gaz, and you're running through this multi-leveled apartment complex or something like that. And there's a bunch of like ways to get around. There's a bunch of scaffolding to climb. There's a cool little section where you jump across a container, then jump over to the other side that's hanging in midair. And then at the end of the level, you meet up with Captain Price, and you capture Makarov's first lieutenant or whatever. And there's this whole section where you have him on your back and you're taking him to the exfil point. It felt like a nice mission. It was a very cool mission. I love that mission. It was really cool. It kind of reminded me of that mission in Call of Duty Vanguard, where you're that Russian sniper lady inside of the like the train station, and you're kind of like zipping around from place to place killing enemies. I thought that was actually a pretty good mission. There's another mission where it's in like the snow and you blow up some ice and you destroy a convoy. And after after you destroy the convoy, you figure out that oh, there's a captive with them, and you save the captive, and it's General Shepard, and you gotta go through like this kind of snowy area, and then you go to like this big holdout mission at the end, which I thought was kind of fun. I thought that was kind of fun. And the last truly good mission was one where you're in like a soccer stadium, or football as it's called, and there's a terrorist attack going on, and as Task Force 141 you infiltrate it, and you take down the terrorists, and you have to make sure you're not hitting civilians. And it was actually a pretty decent level. I actually really enjoyed that one. The big level, the big no Russian level of this game was not that great. Makarov essentially takes over a plane that he boards for whatever reason. Like, way to not really leave things to chance, you know? Like, he boards this plane that he has, like, bombs and stuff carried onto it, because he disguises his fellow terrorists as the pilot and stuff like that. And he gets on the plane, and he puts the bomb jacket on this woman, and then you're trying to, like, defuse it, but the people in the plane are, like, trying to attack you because they think you're the terrorist, and then it blows up. And, like, that's supposed to be, like, the no Russian mission for this game, which apparently needs to be in every single Call of Duty now for some reason. And it just wasn't that great. It didn't hit at all. Same thing with an ending sequence during this game. I don't know how much I really want to spoil. I don't know how much you really care if you're listening to this. But essentially at the very end of the game, which doesn't feel like the end of the game, Makarov plants some bombs in a London subway, and you're defusing them with soap. And randomly, Makarov just appears out of nowhere, grabs Soap, shoots him in the head, and runs away as your team gets there, your squad gets there. Compare that to the old Modern Warfare 3 when Soap died. Just this new Modern Warfare 3 is just completely tone deaf with it. Like, he gets shot in the head, and that's it. There's no last words. There's no heroic, like, anything going on. It's just Soap dies. Think about Modern Warfare 2 when Soap gets stabbed in the chest, you pull the blade from your chest, and you throw it into the eye of General Shepard. That's impactful. Then you save Soap's life in the next game, and then Soap sacrifices. Well, he doesn't really sacrifice, Soap gets blasted by Makarov with some explosives in the tower that they're in, because Makarov knows their plan, and you work with him throughout the entire second part of that mission, and then he dies on a table with Captain Price screaming and whatever, and it's an impactful moment because you've come to know and love Soap. And the reboot of the series does not have that. They really lean on the nostalgia factor. Oh, you know Soap from before. He's a really good character, isn't he? You love Soap, don't you? It's like, yeah, sure, I liked Soap in the past, but in this new Modern Warfare reboot, he's really, I mean, he's not like that, not that memorable. Like, if this was the first appearance of Soap in Modern Warfare 2, 2022, I mean, this death would have no impact, and it still doesn't have any impact. I mean, when Soap died in the original Modern Warfare 3, that's when men cried. Okay, that wasn't just a meme. It was true. It's an impactful moment. The music, Captain Price's voice acting, and everything that's going on around you. And it's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, that was crazy. And in Modern Warfare 3, it's like, okay, he's dead. Oh, well. So, yeah, this is a $70 DLC. And let me express why in my own words. One, when you load up the game, you go to this Call of Duty Central hub that has Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 combined in it. You can play the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, the multiplayer, and the Spec Ops if you so desire. You can switch over to the Warzone if you so desire. It's kind of similar to what they were doing with 2019 Cold War and Vanguard, where you could have all three of the games load up at the same time if you had them digitally and switch between them on the flick of a button. And Modern Warfare 3 is, yeah, you load it up and you go to this Call of Duty hub, and the first thing that it says is, do you want to buy Modern Warfare 3 in this hub? I have the physical disc, mind you. I have it in my hands. I have the case in my hands, and I'm trying to load in the game. And what do you know? It's asking me if I want to buy Modern Warfare 3 from this Call of Duty main menu. On top of that, the trophy list is a part of the Modern Warfare 2 list from last year. It's a add-on to that list. If you buy the PS4 version, obviously it has its own platinum trophy, but with it being a add-on to the trophy list from the last year's game, that definitely tells you that there's something fishy going on, because this is a full price release that does not have its own trophy list. My next, please view the next part of my crazy theory here. The next thing is that Microsoft has finally finished buying Activision Blizzard. Next year, Microsoft is going to fully take over, and things are going to be run differently at Activision Blizzard. And the current CEO and leadership of Activision are going to be canned, most likely. I mean, one of them is supposed to be, because he has allegations against him. This feels like a last-ditch effort, truly feels like a last-ditch effort to get a buck out of the player base, get paid, and leave the company. That is what this feels like. I can almost guarantee you that all the maps from this game, from the original Modern Warfare 2, were supposed to be DLC or a season pass type thing for Modern Warfare 2 for 2022. It was probably supposed to be like the end of the Modern Warfare 2 game, and then they were going to move on to the next game. Well, what do you know? The only maps in Modern Warfare 3, the base game, are from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. These maps are great, don't get me wrong, but they would be great DLC. I've already played these maps to death. I like them, I love them, but I've already played them to death. I know their every ins and outs. I know every preferable route, and I'm sure most people playing the game do too. This would have been a great DLC, not a great base map point. 2. The zombies missions, or the zombies mode. It's pretty much just being dropped into a Warzone match, teaming up with 3 other people, and having a bunch of other squads out there trying to work and kill these zombies. And that's pretty much it. It's a survival-based thing. It's weird, it's awkward, and it just seems out of place in the Modern Warfare universe. And I know people are like, before the game came out, were like, oh my god, I'm so excited for Infinity Ward's take on zombies. Let me stop you right there. This is not an Infinity Ward developed game. This game was developed by Sledgehammer in 16 months. The average development cycle for a Call of Duty game is 3 years. 16 months to put together a shoddy campaign, a bunch of maps that are remakes or remasters from another past game, and a zombie mode that doesn't feel like it's supposed to be here. Huh. Kind of weird. Kind of makes you think that this was a hobbled together, duct taped together kind of game. Wow. The graphics in the game are inconsistent throughout the campaign. Sometimes it looks photorealistic. Sometimes it looks like the Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1. I am not joking. Okay? Which just goes to tell me that they ran out of time while developing this game. 16 months to make this game. A lot of it is just the same stuff from Modern Warfare 2. It's got the same engine for multiplayer. It's got the same. I mean, you could just asset flip all the characters and most of the details of the game. I mean, they use a lot of locations from the 2019 Modern Warfare. Crazy enough. They use a lot of characters from those past games as well, but for some reason they exclude the Mexican Special Forces characters, who were actually my favorite part of the last game. Oh well. At least we have General Shepard coming back and his lackey Graves, who I was pretty sure died in the last game, but oh no, he escaped. somehow from the burning carcass of a tank that exploded from the inside. Yeah, he's fine. That also leads me to the writing in the game, which is very hit or miss. The story itself is so fragmented and wild. You have parts of the game where you capture Makarov and General Shepard's there, and he helps you capture Makarov. And then in the next mission, in the next cutscene, they're like, "We need to hunt down Makarov. Where did Makarov go? Blah 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 blah." And it's like, what? And you're talking to General Shepard, and he's like, "Here's some intel for you." And then the mission after that, General Shepard is captured by Makarov, and you find him in a jeep in that mission I was talking about in the ambush. And it's like, how did you get here all of a sudden? It seemed like the writers, there was like 5 different writers, write each like 2 of them writing each level, and they just kind of were like, what did the last guy do? I don't remember. Let's just write this. Let's just do this. It's so weird. Like, Makarov just escapes for no apparent reason. It's so crazy to me that a game series like Modern Warfare, a legacy of great campaigns, just halts right here. And it's a train. It's literally just a train wreck of nostalgia, reworked ideas from the original Modern Warfare, and poor level design. The ideas from Modern Warfare 2, it's kind of funny how many times they reference it, but they don't go fully through with it, right? Makarov is prisoner 6274 or whatever, which was Captain Price's designation. I'm sorry, 627 in the original game in Modern Warfare 2. That was Price's prisoner number in Modern Warfare 2. Yeah. Why even have that? Another part where you are Soap and you're getting on the chopper to leave with General Shepard. He holds out his hand to you and says, "Good work, soldier," which is the same thing that General Shepard says to you in Modern Warfare 2 before he kills Ghost and Roach. Roach, by the way, doesn't even make an appearance in this game. I thought that maybe they would add him in because he is a staple character of Modern Warfare 2, and they've been nostalgia baiting the hell out of that. Nah, Roach doesn't make it in. Sandman, Grinch, the other guy, they don't make it into this game. You know, all these characters that people liked from the original Modern Warfare trilogy, they don't get any love because Modern Warfare 3 is just a tumor on Modern Warfare 2 2022. That is literally all it is. It is a growth that is sort of formed on the side of Modern Warfare 2. And it is crazy to me that they thought that, okay, it's not that they think they're going to get away with it. They already have gotten away with this. Millions of people are going to buy this game, $70. Most of them buying it just for the multiplayer. Most of them buying it because their friend bought the game. Most people are not buying it for the campaign. Maybe they're buying it for the zombies mode. But most people, if they already have it, they have Warzone, they have Modern Warfare 2, now they have Modern Warfare 3 on their shelves. Because of the fact that it's just the next, and it's just the latest in multiplayer. And is the multiplayer good? Yeah, the new weapons, they're kind of cool. I don't mind them. The only problem is, though, is that now I can use any weapon from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 in this game. So I played Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer to hell and back. I got all the sights, all the attachments for almost every single weapon class. So I have all those weapons. I have all those massively overpowered freaking attachments. So as soon as I level up a weapon to level 2, I already have the best stock in the game. I have the best red dot sight in the game, or sight in the game. I have the best this and this and this and this. So it really takes away from that feeling of progression in the multiplayer, because I can just use any gun that I acquired in Modern Warfare 2. I can use any character that you may have bought or acquired in Modern Warfare 2. You can use any emblem, any charm, any weapon attachment that you can think of that you got in Modern Warfare 2 in this game. And even though I like the idea of having all the characters and content that you purchased or earned in Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer in this game, I don't mind that at all. It just, in the full package of things, it just really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It really just makes me feel even more and more and more that this is just a big DLC that they are marketing as a full-blown game that should have just been a group of maps, a group of guns, a group of new operators, a group of new everything else in between. And it does not make sense to me that so many people are falling for this trap once again. This is going to go down as one of the worst Call of Duties in history, and millions of people are going to be spending their money on it simply because it's Call of Duty, it's Modern Warfare, it's multiplayer, it's Warzone, it's zombies. And this game is a piece of crap at its core. It's lazy. That's the key word here. This is a lazy game. It's a shambled together game. I feel so bad for the people at Sledgehammer Games who worked on this, who had to poop this out in 16 freaking months. Most of the cutscenes in this game are just people talking. There's not much going on. Which also tells you that, yeah, we didn't have the budget to actually design cool cutscenes. We had to do a lot of talking. This $70 DLC craps on Modern Warfare's legacy, its characters, the events, and everything else in between that made me fall in love with the series. This game will still sell millions of copies, makes tons of money, give a nice payday to those executives at Activision who are leaving once Microsoft is in there and fires them all or moves them into different positions. And the other really disgraceful thing is when you start up the game, it shows the logo of Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, High Moon, Toys for Bob, Activision, whatever, the other Activision division that's I think in Beijing. It shows all their logos because this is the new Call of Duty that we're looking at here. And maybe once Microsoft comes in and says, no, we're not doing that, I really hope so. Because this whole Call of Duty hub thing is really weird, okay? It's also really confusing because when you look at this game on your storefront or on Steam or on anything, it just says Call of Duty. It's all weird. It's all weird. I know I've been rambling for quite some time. My thoughts are probably not completely focused or coherent, but just know that this is not worth your time. It is not worth your money. The campaign is bad. The multiplayer is fine because it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. The zombies mode, not that great in my opinion. Warzone, I've never been a fan myself, so I can't say. But they truly ruined the campaign experience for this game simply because they didn't have enough time to design levels that were actually fun, that actually had stuff going on, actually writing a coherent story that follows a good path, uses the characters in a good way. None of that. The other thing is that they're using Captain Price again for the cover of this game. He was on 2019's and now he's on Modern Warfare 3's cover. It doesn't make sense that he's on the cover. Also, I don't like the redesign of Makarov. His new voice actor is not that great. I don't like how they've rewritten the character, reworked the character. In the end, I've been hoping for a remaster of Modern Warfare 3's campaign, and I don't think that's ever going to come at this point. They made their money with the remaster from Call of Duty 4 and from Modern Warfare 2's remastered campaign, and I don't understand why they wouldn't, but they're not going to do Modern Warfare 3's campaign remastered. Probably because they don't want to remind people of how much better that game is compared to 2023's Modern Warfare 3. And at the end of the day, I'm going to give Modern Warfare 3 in total a 1.5 out of 5. Thank you for listening. This has been the final review.